Welcome to Grit and Gravitas with Ann and Annie, bringing you savvy, spirited stories of success. We're excited to deliver 30 minutes of inspiration, impact, and goodness. We'll be bringing you guests and friends from around the country who have very special work and personal journeys. I'm Ann Deeter Gallaher, your co-host with Annie Carnathan, and this is Grit and Gravitas. Let's go! I feel like we should cheer Annie Carnathan because this is season 5. Woo! And I couldn't be more excited to have these two women in high gear in the Members First Grit and Gravitas podcast studio.
Amen.
Savvy, spirited stories of success. Did you know that's what
like
you guys signed up for?
No, I'll take it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Kait Gillis, who is, I don't want to say the new owner, but owner-founder of Nour Coffee Shop, which has an incredible brand story and mission. Previously executive director of Brethren Housing, correct?
Yes.
So that's a government position, correct?
Nonprofit.
Nonprofit.
Yep.
Then you came into the dark side of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And
Yes. And I've aged about 30 years into.
Well, not true.
You don't look it.
You look amazing. I want to dive deep into these stories for our women entrepreneurs, and we know we have a lot of them that listen, and men. We're all inclusive. Find out some of your journey, especially in the time period that you're doing that. Sara Firestone, we love you. You know that. And I know you love the limelight. Is that correct?
Much prefer behind the scenes.
And you are VP of Public Relations and Community Engagement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I got that title right.
We see Sara everywhere.
I know, but she's very rare, sometimes in front of the microphone when you're speaking at like a shoe strider or at events like that, which you did amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And
She did.
Shoe strider,
Thank you.
can we
Fun
just shout out
Oh, please.
for somebody
Shoe
for me,
strut.
shoe strut?
Yes. Bring it loud and strong for
700,
that. Oh.
753.
$210,000.
Yes,
Net.
amazing.
Like that,
Amazing.
honestly, I think that's one of the biggest, it is the biggest women's event in our area. Nothing brings in over 700 amazing
It goes
hot
like
women.
that. It's such a good cause. The bids, competitively, like, you're not beating me, right? And so, yeah, just extraordinary.
So, Kait, we want to dive deep into, tell us about Nour, the purpose. We can Google you, and there's a lot
Sure.
of awesome stories.
Sure.
Right.
But where did this come from?
Yeah. So it was born out of necessity, really. I have a daughter named Nour who has Down syndrome. Nour is 4 years old. And when I found out that I was going to have a child with Down syndrome, I was very early because I was advanced geriatric pregnancy.
Love hearing that,
not
right?
even geriatric.
31
advanced,
or what was that?
39.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
39. I didn't even know I could have kids, so this was quite the surprise. And when I found out I was pregnant, I had spent 7 years working at the Department of Human Services, at Pennsylvania's Department of Human Services as the comms director there. And we oversaw developmental programs, which is supports for people with disabilities. And so one thing I had learned while I was there is the lack of employment opportunities
Ooh.
for individuals with disabilities.
So just an observation as you're seeing the services
It
provided.
was a big effort that they
yeah.
had been making is to try to improve that.
Wow.
And over 70% of people with disabilities are unemployed,
Ooh,
which
that's
is
that's an unfortunate
horrific.
business vitamin.
That's exactly
70%
right.
of people with disabilities are unemployed.
Yeah. And they want to be employed.
Right.
Yes.
And there
Right.
are opportunities to employ. So we'll get
Okay.
into that in
Yes.
a moment. So in my fixer mentality, I knew I couldn't change.
That's a club.
Unfortunately, I
Fixer
couldn't
mentality.
change who Nour is because
Yes.
Nour is a
And you
perfect,
wouldn't
beautiful
want to,
angel.
yes.
But I could try to fix the world for her a little bit by creating an opportunity for employment, and more importantly, an opportunity for her to see individuals that represent her and who she is working, contributing to our community, making money, and getting out there. And so when I thought about it, we explored some other businesses that already existed that did something similar, but they were more of a franchise model. And I didn't have the resources to do that. And so I blindly and ignorantly said, I'll just do it. It's a coffee shop. It's not going to be that hard.
As all good things are done, blindly.
Right, ignorantly jumping in with both feet.
No, you just abandoned. Good.
Yeah, and so we decided to create a coffee shop that employs individuals with neurodiversity working alongside individuals that are typically developing. Because in my mind, that's how our society should be, and that we are all in this together. Our tagline is better together. And so it's really important that people get to see people of all abilities working side by side.
Did that end result, Kait, that vision immediately come to you? And then you sort of had to reverse engineer it about how do I get there? Like, that's a very concise goal.
Sure.
Or end in mind.
Sure.
Did that develop first and you're like, how do we do this? Or
yes. And then the end goal was, let's get a place of employment in our community. I think our community would buy into it and support the mission, which they have wholeheartedly. But it was getting there. Did you do a
focus group or anything?
I met with a bunch of parents of people with disabilities. Not that you needed one, but I'm curious. No, I definitely did, because I didn't have experience with adults with disabilities.
Okay.
I had a newborn with Down syndrome, which is essentially having a newborn. I mean, she was the easiest child I've had of my four.
Yeah.
And so meeting with a lot of the parents that have adults with Down syndrome or other disabilities was critical, because I wasn't realizing the real issue isn't just employment, it's loneliness and socialization. And so we talk a lot about seniors experiencing loneliness, especially post-pandemic. A lot of that's come to light, but individuals with disabilities are experiencing loneliness at an alarming rate.
Because they're isolated.
There's isolation. There's not a lot of opportunity for socialization.
Right.
And once high school ends, a lot of those opportunities end, unless you're going into like a day program, which isn't really suitable for everyone. Yeah. And so this also fills that gap as well. And I'm seeing a lot of beautiful friendships forming amongst my employees, amongst my customers and my employees as well. And so it is helping to bridge some of that issues as well.
So what about the raw business insights? And we're going to pull Sara in on that, because coffee shops are one of my favorite businesses to, patronize.
Gathering place by nature.
Yeah, third space, right?
But they don't crop up without money.
Without money, it's right.
So you knew what the mission was, which is probably the most important part of the brand. And, we can see it on your face. I've been to Nour. I know your daughter. I've seen her. I'm like, what, this is a win-win-win all the way around. But unfortunately, you have to get either, partners in that. You have to find, an amazing financial institution in that. So tell me about that journey. Like, once you get the mission, then how did you get to the small business launch?
Sure. So I have my MBA from Villanova. And so I went there a few years ago, and we did a lot on business plans and creating your business plans. And so I was able to use that as my basis, created a business plan, and sat down again with a lot of the families, right? And so once you knew somebody had a heart for the mission, then it's a lot easier to get that buy-in for as an investor and what that looks like. A lot of my investors worked with me at the state, at DHS. They share the heart of serving people. So
you had a relationship, and they trusted you. And,
and I'd met some of these folks 1 or 2 times, but we held investor meetings where I would try to answer the best I could. I mean, a lot of it was unknown. I didn't know what I didn't know until I'm literally in the day-to-day of the operations. And so getting investors for the first location wasn't challenging. Will it be if I do a few more? I don't know. We'll find out as we grow. It
was a total belief in you.
I think.
And the mission.
And the mission.
And that's why they call it faith.
Yeah. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But we also do bank with members first, and they've been an incredible partner. And anytime I need something, I can easily reach out to them, and they help me with, do you need a line of credit for new equipment or whatever that looks like. And so that's been really helpful as well, having a community bank.
Sara, jump in here. We see you a lot with the nonprofits and working with them and in partnership speaking. This kind of mission just has to make you want to do a cartwheel.
Absolutely. I mean, I love the fact that you said it earlier, win-win-win, right?
Yeah.
And how we can do that. And I think that, when we look at it, I mean, I always say I have the good fortune of seeing the good that's happening in our community every day. And it's a privilege to be able to do this work and to, be able to support, people like Kait and Nour. But I think just hearing, exactly, you're what we want, right? In terms of from a financial institution perspective of going about things thoughtfully and, thinking about your investors. I mean, I've heard the stories from, and again, pulling in the people who are going to believe in you and be able to do that. So I think that from a community perspective and, from the credit union, this is what we, were started by as a financial cooperative of people coming together and pooling their resources together.
So instead of the refrigerator, which was the very first founding members first, it's the coffee shop. And, it's really a passion project that has turned into a mission and a, full-on business.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
it's such an extraordinary relationship, right? Because relationships are
Absolutely.
win-win-win. And so how did that tie-up happen? Like, how did members first become, to me, that sort of North Star
Sure.
to make it happen?
I think it's from meeting Lynn, honestly, Lynn Strickler. I had met her through some other family
That's
members
awesome, yeah.
and built relationships there.
She has a lot of them.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she's
Shout
really
out to Lynn,
impressive.
right?
Yeah, shout out to Lynn. Yeah.
And so building that and knowing the entire mission of Nour is this community aspect, right? Being a third space, showing the community the abilities of folks with disabilities, using small local businesses as our suppliers for things. And like our baker is in Harrisburg. She brings over her baked goods fresh on a daily
So that's
basis.
a whole full cycle with women entrepreneurs,
Yes.
especially, but any other small businesses. So that's it's an ecosystem. That's
Yeah,
great.
and so having a community bank was super important to us as well, knowing I can just pick up the phone and call and say, hey, Sarah, I need help for this, or we launched a nonprofit side of our coffee shop. The coffee shop is a for-profit business.
Right.
Intentionally. I want
yep.
people to see that individuals with disabilities are able to have a successful business. But we also have a nonprofit side of our business called Nour's Place, which is addressing the socialization, the resource gathering for family members. And so Members First has also been a supporter of from that perspective on the nonprofit side of things. And so it is nice to have that partnership that can bridge all of the different lines.
No, I love it. I love it.
What do you think right now was the most difficult aspect of navigating that? There had to be an enormous amount of challenges.
Of launching the
Yes.
business. A challenge is staffing. Staffing is a tough one. Not
So because of who you're staffing, or just overall, because everyone's having a struggle with that?
Yeah,
Or just,
not my folks with disabilities. I have about 70 applicants waiting for a job for that. There's nowhere else.
Is
for
that
folks
pure
to
word
work.
of mouth, or
Yeah.
how? Oh,
Pure
my
word of mouth.
word!
Wow.
And I haven't lost a single employee since we opened.
That's so,
That has
kinda
a
gives me
disability.
chills. That's so cool.
Except for one,
Wow.
and it's because she left to go to college. There's an autism program in Louisiana, and she just opened her own coffee shop.
Oh my goodness.
That's
She opened her own coffee truck down there that is going to employ people with disabilities.
Oh my word!
And so the ripple is already starting down in Louisiana is where she started that. And
That's so cool.
It is so cool. It's really cool. But my goal is to lose some of these employees
I love
to
it. Yep.
other employers in our community.
Great.
One of my guys did have an interview today because of our employment. We opened a shop in a local high school here as well a few weeks ago, and he's interviewing in the cafeteria there today.
Oh, I love
So my hope is that we can start to expand this employment across our area, for sure.
So what message would you have for younger Kait?
Oh gosh, younger Kait. I started my career on Wall Street, and
Wow.
so from the age of 10, I wanted to work on Wall Street and be a corporate communications person that
girl.
worked there,
Yeah.
and I did it. And I hated it. And I lasted 2 years, and I was like, get me out of New York City,
Yeah.
get me out of this job.
So were you single when you did that? You
I
just
was.
went, wow.
Yeah, I was 22 too.
Wow.
I mean, I just graduated college and moved there. And then I went to Philly for several years and worked in private equity and commercial real estate. And none of this was on my radar. A coffee shop that employs people with disabilities was never on my radar, but that's how life goes, right? We're all on these different trajectories.
You have to have the faith to follow it, right?
Yeah. And you just have to kind of ride.
And 10 to 22, like it's sort of like, where do you go when you're getting to the end of your dream? So that was your dream.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
not
started
so much.
to,
I need a new
feel
dream.
the lack of, and this isn't a knock at anyone who works on Wall Street, it's a great job, but the lack of like the human
connection
of it. I didn't even know that's what I wanted until I had experienced it, and eventually ended up going to work at the state, where I worked for about 7 years in health and human services. And that's really where I found my love of like the human services world, disabilities, Medicaid, child welfare. I have 3 adopted children from the foster care system. And so that really put that on my radar to go down that path. And so you just have to hold on because you can go a lot of different ways.
For younger women, younger men who have a dream, either out of necessity, realize that, Kait's a solution to a problem that you saw that wasn't being solved on the state government level.
Yeah.
Wasn't or couldn't be, whatever.
Yeah.
But nothing really can rival a mom with a heart to get things done.
You're
honestly.
Exactly right. And that's what I say all the time. I'm like, it's a mama bear reaction to protect our cubs and to make sure that they're
get out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it all the time about parents in like their IEP meetings with the school. You're like, nothing is scarier than a mom in an IEP meeting. I haven't had that experience
yet. It's a mama bear roar,
right?
Yeah,
and where there is no plan B.
Yeah,
this is what's going to work because it's like mission driven,
and it has to. It has to, right? So like there's so many days when I'm like, I can't do this. I can't wake up at 5 a.m. again and go I'm exhausted. And then I'm like,
but Nour's only 4.
Right. Yeah.
She can't even work there yet.
Right.
So.
She's our chief happiness officer.
And I'll bet she does. Exactly.
She works for free. For cookies and cake pops, but yes.
How adorable.
Sarah, tell us a little bit about, just working with small businesses. I think Members First has 25,000 small business members. Like, that's no small amount. No. So you pretty much have heard every story, coming to people, whether the idea is on the napkin, and literally I know people that did that scribbled it on a napkin in a restaurant or a bar.
Did we do that? I'm pretty sure we did that.
We were over lunch, but I don't even think we scribbled anything.
We're just like, we're going to, like, same thing. We're just going to do this
gotta
to try, because women, talk about helping people or, want that. We were just like, this is what we're going to do. No idea how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? To that point. So.
But we knew... Right. The podcast was something we would have benefited from.
Sure.
Learning other stories where we can't spend all day like Google or AI search. Who are the people we need to know? Who has an answer to this problem? And quick story, just this morning in a text, one of our fabulous younger guests texted me and said she just had a big transition into an awesome, incredible new career opportunity. And she said, are there any episodes that would help me in this transition going to big corporate? And I'm like, this is it. This is
That's what you want to do.
This is like we feel it's executive education without paying the $15,000 to Wharton. So you can listen here, and these stories, you're never going to find it in a textbook. Mm-hmm. Young people listening, YouTube or streaming, are going to hear your story and feel like the challenge, what you perceived as a challenge, ended up to be the brightest star in other families' lives.
Sure.
That their children now could earn a living. And that comes with self-respect and dignity.
100%.
That doesn't stop with who you are or how old you are, or whether you're able or challenged. I think that's just incredible to take that passion or what you feel in your heart. Go to, I know people come to you, Sarah, with stories, and you're like, sometimes it can't happen, or it can't happen now. And we've heard that story before.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that's been one of the wonderful things of the stories that I've heard is that, we want to be able to, one, hear the story, but if it can't happen now, what do you need to put in place to be able to get to a point that it can happen? And I think that's where our team, whether it's the Lynn Sticklers of the world or, our branch managers, everyone, we just want to be able to do what we can, to help, whether it's on the small business side, a consumer side, and be that partner and develop that relationship.
What's the heart? And just sit back and think about 25,000 of anything.
I know.
That's a staggering amount, but you feel that in your branches. I've said this before. I'm a people person. I want to go in. How was your day? Hi, good to see you again. You look really sweet and you're happy and you're nice and thank you. You're smiling with your eyes. I don't doubt that someone, if one of those 25,000 people needs someone as a relationship manager or someone that's going to assist them, I don't have any doubt Members First is going to be there on the other end of that. How is that managed? That's a staggering number, right?
We have a lot of good people.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of good people. Yeah.
And that's a mission, that's a culture. Right?
It is.
Top to bottom, up and down.
And we hear that all the time with our new hires or, when we talk with our associates about what drew them to Members First. And I always say it warms my heart when I hear people say, I want to be a part of an organization that gives back to the community, as much as they do and treats our members, the way that we do. So it's...
Well, and that's a purpose. People come to you for employment to work for a purpose. That it's not just the paycheck. It's got to be the people that they're working with.
Do well by doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you go to bed with a dream and wake up with a purpose. I'm not sure what could be more meaningful. That, again, that's just me, and that's who you align with in life to make what is a dream, right, a reality, which is not easy.
What has been the response for the community? Because am I right in remembering that the governor stopped at Nour?
Yeah, and the First Lady.
Good.
Yep, she's been twice.
Nice.
They're wildly supportive. That's actually a big focus of the First Lady's efforts is employment for people with disabilities. She's been traveling the Commonwealth building employer relationships to try to bridge this. And so they've been nothing but supportive. I mean, he had me join his Workforce Development Commission as a voice to represent that as well. And so
you have so much time to do that. I mean,
so my husband's like, could you stop on the boards and the
commission? Sitting around
like a successful businesswoman.
Right?
How many boards are you serving on?
I need a loan. I do not have time to stop.
That's right.
Sarah, make it happen.
That's literally how my conversations go. Like Lynn will be like, can I nail you down for 2 seconds? I'm like, yes, call me in the car. We'll just sign it. Go ahead. It's fine. I agree. But the governor is wildly supportive of this, which is beautiful. It's refreshing. I think that real change is happening.
Yep.
We're starting to see some efforts being made in the community that way. And I think as more folks are exposed to the benefits of employing somebody with a disability, the timeliness, the desire to work, the never calling off, never showing up late.
So the business vitamin
really
is
beautiful.
We need to drill down to Kait's, HR department.
Kait needs an HR department.
You're the HR department.
You're looking at it. Social media, marketing, manager. Yeah, that's right. Barista, all of them.
I think what's a little bit overlooked today, and maybe it's just the transience that I feel through video or how we communicate, is loyalty.
Yeah, sure.
And it's a constant growth mentality. Do you want to grow? How do you want to grow? And I believe that's the 50-50 relationship part of work for dollars, right? But I think that's such sometimes an organic thing, and you have to communicate to get to that. But the accountability and the loyalty, and it's easy to just sort of go, yeah, no, not so much, or here or there or everywhere, right? But when you look at just being where your feet are, which Ian often says, and making the most of that, that's a shining star that we could all, I think, learn from.
I read a cute little story on Instagram, of course, this morning. And it was Kurt Vonnegut, the writer, was sharing this story he told his wife, I'm going to run out and get an envelope. And she said, well, what are you going to do that for? Just go online and order a case of envelopes.
Right.
He said, no. He said, I'm going out to the store in town to get the envelope because I'm going to see a couple kids and wave to them, and I'll probably see the fire department and give a thumbs up to them. And I'm going to go to the coffee shop and meet some more people. So it was never about the envelope. And I feel that way with, and you've used the word.
That was the vessel,
yeah,
right?
That's what Nour is, you know. So not only are we getting a great cup of coffee, our faces are going to smile ear to ear, you know, working with Demi and Jared and all your amazing young workers. We're going to contribute to your business. But I think everybody's walking out with, maybe this could work, you know, in other companies. Maybe if Kait could do this, how could we? Sara, to your point, it's when a business comes to you, it's never about we can't, but how could we? What would we need to make this, you know, a coffee shop of your type? How could we make it happen?
Members First is in the yes business.
That's a good one. I will say, just to that note too, the level of the product that we carry was critical to me. I didn't want to be a charity case.
Good business
I didn't want people to show up and say, oh, I want to support the mission.
Yes.
But this coffee sucked. We have the best coffee.
That's
we
amazing.
have the best
Good.
baked goods.
Yes.
We have the best breakfast sandwiches. And so I feel confident when someone comes in that they're not just going to get exceptional service from my team, but that they're also going to walk away saying, oh my God, that egg and cheese was amazing. And so that's really important to us.
I was going to say, people that love coffee, that's a huge...
For sure.
She's
We're very particular about our coffee.
Gallaher, you know, I'm having my Gallaher. Right?
Yeah.
And I just think that that's I will just say that's my happy place. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we're actually going to start roasting our own coffee soon. Yep, I've been training on that too in my spare time. In my spare time. So
in between opening the school
all of it.
coffee shop too.
That's right.
So what would you say, give us a setback and a comeback. Any experiences where you just, I don't want to say weren't prepared for, we aren't prepared for most of what we do in business, but.
I think I expected us to be profitable immediately.
That's
which
a good
is
thought.
Wildly insane. Everything says 3 to 5 years for a coffee shop to even get into the black. And I was like, oh, no way. We'll be there in 6 months.
That's a mountain. That's a mountain.
It is. But we're there, finally.
Congrats,
2.5 years in, I think we're
yes.
That's great.
And even surviving this long, honestly, as crazy as that sounds, these
with your
businesses go
employees.
so fast.
Yeah.
They go up and down so quickly. And so being able to stay and exist and continue to grow and serve and employ people, which is obviously my biggest mission. Right. So from that perspective, I think a little ignorance on the cash flow was probably a biggest setback. Yeah, the biggest setback there.
Sara, Members First would want to know that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they do. And they do. So I think that was one of my biggest learning experiences. I have my communications business, but there's no overhead for that. So I didn't have
service business.
anything. You know what I mean? It was just me doing my work. So I wasn't. Anyway, I'm much more well versed in that. And what was the other half of the question? Comebacks. Oh gosh. Well, I guess just like navigating how to better manage cash flow, and understand that, and being there all the time. Right. Initially, I was still working at Brethren Housing full time.
Your youngest of 4.
So
it's not like you don't have things at home to do.
And I think managing expectations, personal expectations, you see other coffee shops doing things, you see other folks doing things, and you're like, why am I not doing that? Why am I not launching this? Why am I not out there? And then I'm like, I can't be. I have to parent in the evenings and on weekends. And so finding that was like, give myself a little grace, give the business a little grace. You can't be everything to everyone, which I think is hard when you're a business owner and trying not to compare on other things.
It is sort of the oxygen mask coming down from the top of the plane. You have to put yours on first.
Sure.
Before you're really ever able to demonstrably help someone else.
Yeah,
right?
that's trying.
It's that's exactly
we
right.
all have to work on our self-care, I think.
That's exactly right, because there has to be.
Let us know when that.
Mine is early morning, and it's like essentially it's 2 hours with me and my dogs. Sure. And I mean, it is meditation. It's thoughtful. It's the day ahead. It's grateful to wake up and watch the sunrise. Right. And so I think it just matters how you carve it out. Yep. Because people will always take whatever we're willing to give them. Yeah.
Good.
So. Yeah.
So, 2 last questions. Unless you have one, you can be 2
more.
Kait, what advice would you have for a young entrepreneur? Someone who's just coming out of high school or maybe midway through college that says, oh, I've got this awesome idea.
Well, one, I love that, first of all, because coming out of high school or college, I did not have any idea what I was going to be doing. But I think it's just the tenacity, right? And being able to understand that there will be the highs and the lows and not to quit when you hit the lows and just keep huffing it.
Good. And the good times will stay and the bad times will stay, but not forever.
Sure.
They just sort of ebb and flow. It's all seasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Sara, what would you tell a young person? I know you have a lot of financial, programs and services for young people, but what if a 20-year-old knocks on the Members First branch and says, I've got this awesome idea, and I just heard Kait Gillis on Grit and Gravitas, and I think I'm going to try this, and I don't know anything about cash flow.
I think that's all part of, creating that network and developing those relationships, having somebody that will be that partner and help you, walk through it and just learning from people, especially at that, no matter what age you are, but especially learning. I think being open to that opportunity and learning, how to figure out cash flow and learning about a business. So I think just being open to those learning experiences.
Oh, that's awesome. We all need to know what we don't know, and that's considerable.
Or hire the person who knows what we don't know.
Or lean on as support, right? Yeah. Like, I think that's what I look at my personal board of directors is, to make a call and really understand how much better they know something than me.
Good.
That's right. Right. So.
Kait, where can we find Nour? Tell us about, for listeners that are local to Central PA, where can we find you? And if we're not local, how could we support you?
Sure. So we are right on the Carlisle Pike and St. John's Church Road, Camp Hill, border of Mechanicsburg. Right. We are there Tuesday through Sunday, 7:30 to 3. And then if you are not local, you can go on our website, nourcoffee.com. You can buy our merch. You can hopefully soon buy our roasted coffee that will be able to be delivered.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm very excited about that.
N-O-U-R.
N-O-U-R, and that's my daughter's name.
Right.
It means the light. And so my husband is an Egyptian immigrant and speaks Arabic. And so when we were looking at names, he said, what about Nour? And I knew because she had Down syndrome that she would be a light. And I just thought it would be a perfectly fitting name. And so that's why we named her that. And she is the cutest little button.
I'll bet.
Yes.
No doubt.
Spicy though. Whew.
We love spicy too.
Yeah. Spicy girls. That's right.
Spicy girls.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Kait, for
thank you.
sharing your heart and your
course.
Story. And I feel like when we leave here, I'm going to get, is it after 3? We're going to get a cup of coffee tomorrow.
That's right.
And I've been there.
Yes.
Sara, thanks for sharing your space. I feel like this is our third space now, honestly, for Grit and Gravitas. Annie.
Coffee, a Sammy, and a baked good.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's my second time talking with you today, so that's a win-win for me.
It is. It is.
All right, so Grit and Gravitas, we are heavy into season 5 with bigger, better stories than ever. And thanks so much for sharing your heart with us, Kait.
Thank you so much. Not a show without you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. It's our desire that these stories will bring energy, ideas, and fresh thinking that you can use today. Subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram, and have a high gear day.